Let no feelings of discouragement prey upon you, and in the end, you are sure to succeed. Abraham Lincoln. My friends, I know the people that are going to make it when I first meet them when it comes to stock trading because they are totally dedicated to doing this no matter how long it takes. They're not worried about making $1 million overnight because they know they will stick with it until they master it. And I say to those people, you've already mastered it. It's just a matter of time. And the ones who are antsy and anxious and can't listen and go out and do all the stupid stuff and start losing money, it's not even worth the time of day to talk to them because they will never listen and they will soon quit. It's those who keep their nose to the grindstone. And as Abraham Lincoln told us, let no feelings of discouragement prey upon you. And in the end, you're sure to succeed because you know you will. Let's jump into these charts. Everything down but Bitcoin today. And of course, as we look at the S&P 500, we see a green spinning top as we ended the week. Look at all this volume. Now, I told you guys yesterday, I have adjusted just for interest's sake to see if this is going to help us and work in any way. I've adjusted the volume. And this is the average volume here, this moving average. I've adjusted it from 20 periods to 10 on the weekly. So that means it's tracking 10 weeks. I've adjusted it from 20 to 15 on the 2-day. So that is 30 times, that's basically 30 days, okay? And then on the half day, I left it at 20. So that's 10 days, 20 half days. So as we look at this, what do we see going on? Well, the high last week was 563.67. This week, 565.16. Now, it's a green spinning top. It's a little bit higher. Could be an interim high. The volume's average. We will see what happens this next week. Not a trigger puller for us yet as far as what we do. Now, we look at the 2-day, and of course, you do have a interim high and then a rotation over, but you don't have a spinning top. What do you have? You have a red down candle. Not saying that jumping into that trade would not work on a smaller chart, but that's not what we do. We use the big charts for the big money. But don't fret. Don't fret. This may trigger next week, but look at the NASDAQ 100. Now, this is interesting. It's not below the weekly trend line. That's a cautionary note here. But what we do see is interim high with high above average volume, and then a red doji, well, a spinning top, almost a doji with higher than average volume. We see a penetration on the 2-day and, of course, on the half day as we did in the S&P. But again, this is potentially tradable. I pulled the trigger on a down trade on PSQ on this one. I went ahead and entered my trade at the end of the day at $41. And again, jumped into that to see how that's going to go for me. So I am in, again, betting on the market going down. I am in the ProShares PSQ, which is the single short of the NASDAQ 100. Now, again, when we do these trades, I always give the caveat, we're not a stock calling service here. You don't pay us for anything. We don't give you any advice. We are about teaching you. I want you to practice trade with us. Doesn't cost you any money to practice. When you think you're getting good, then what can you do? Well, here you could have bought a couple of shares to what we call fractionally trade with a small amount of money. And you lose 2%, it's $2. You lose 20%, it's $20. You know, you're not out there putting 10 or 15 or $100,000 into a trade to get your ass kicked if things don't go your way. It's not practice that makes perfect. It's perfect practice that makes perfect. So again, we have pulled the trigger on that one. We will see how it goes. Let's see where we are with 20-year U.S. government bonds. They are pulling back for the day. We have a doji ending the week on the 2-day chart. We see the half-day chart sitting right there, trying to push through the weekly trend line. And again, we're not in a trade here because we ain't got nothing that's pulled any triggers for us. So we're waiting for 20-year U.S. government bonds to sort themselves out. Now, what would be nice is, since we have above average volume here, if we saw like at the end of next week, a red spinning top and high average or higher than average volume going down, that might cause us to pull the trigger to again get into TBF, Tango Bravo Foxtrot. What is that? Well, that is the single short. And again, we're just giving you these things as options. Of course, if you were in bonds, like when it had this beautiful run up and you saw this occurring back in October, and you sold your position for a nice profit, and then just pulled out and let it move down until you had another trigger sending you back in, you can do that too. Or you can, of course, simply jump in and ride it again. So just keep those things in mind. The inverse funds give you opportunities. They're not perfect. In fact, I'm going to put in the training today, I'm writing this down, on the newsletter and at the website. You will see the training. If you're a subscriber, the training is going to be on inverse funds, how to make money when markets crash. Something you guys all need to know about, understand, and utilize. There are problems with inverse funds. The fees are much, much higher. They're recalculated typically on a daily basis. They can magnify your losses if you're betting in the wrong direction. That's why you practice trade these things. You don't go out there and start throwing money unless you want to lose it. And as I always say, my friends, if you want to gamble, go to Vegas. You can watch good shows as you lose money, get free drinks as you lose money. You won't sit there chewing your fingernails off in your pajamas, watching your computer screen as you're getting screwed by the market. Do not do that. Okay, let's continue to move along. Where are we with gold? Well, isn't it fascinating, my friends? We saw gold move up, up, up. It was sitting right there, green up candle yesterday, right on our ceiling. And gold down big today, 1.79%. Isn't that interesting? Again, we've seen it happen. This is now potentially the third time. We did see the wick push through, but not the candle. The candle actually is now pulled back. So we'll keep our eye on things. How will we do that? Well, my friends, we've got higher than average volume, interim high. If again, next week we get a red down candle, particularly a red spinning top and average or higher than average volume, then we're going to short gold. If not, and gold pushes through, then more power to gold. We didn't have volume here to confirm a reversal, so we did not jump into gold. And again, will it continue to go up? I can't tell you. Will it go down? I can't tell you. I can tell you what I will do if it does reverse. What do we see going on HODL? Well, my friends, we talked about this yesterday. How many of you pulled the trigger on Bitcoin today on a practice trade going up? Average volume last week, interim low. And actually, that was the interim low last week. And then this week, a green up candle. Not the kind of candle we prefer. What do we prefer? A green spinning top when we have a reversal. These are dangerous. It may never reach this high again. But again, when we look at what Bitcoin's done in the past, when it starts to move, some of you may very well have pulled the trigger on that. Now, of course, you should have set your loss points already. You use this little widget right over here under forecasting and measurement tools. You use the long position. You put that right in. You use, of course, to set your position, you use the ATR at 14 periods. That figure you use to set your profit and your loss bands. That would be $5.17. And then, of course, you jump into that trade after you have adjusted for volatility. My friends, that is where we are as we end this exciting week, and I think next week may be even more exciting. We will see how things continue to move. Patreon members, thank you so much for all of your support. As always, as soon as I finish this recording today, I will, of course, be uploading it, but I'll also be releasing for everyone, charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. Enjoy, my friends. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.